Good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to our online class. In today's lesson, we are looking at linear regression, and that is statistics. And basically, we'll just do some introductory questions that will help us in understanding the concepts better. All right, so given n is equals to 20, summation of x is equals to 760, summation of x squared is that, summation of y is that, summation of y squared is that, and summation of x times y is that. Find the estimated regression line. Okay, find the estimated regression line. How do you find the regression line? So what you should know about regression lines is that we have two things on regression lines that you should know. There is the regression line for y on x, where y is dependent on x, and there is a regression line for x depends on y. Sometimes they will just say find the estimated regression line for y on x, or they would just say find the estimated line of regression for x on y. Okay, so you should know that in y on x, x is dependent on y. I mean, y depends on x. That is y on x. Y depends on x. And if y depends on x, then y is a dependent variable, and x is an independent variable. Okay, independent variable. Okay, in this case, where x is dependent on y, x is dependent variable, and y is the independent variable. Okay, so that is what you should know. Now, when y depends on x, the equation or the linear regression equation is in the general form: y is equals to a plus bx. What you just need to do is you find your a and you find your b there. Then now, in a case where x is dependent on y, x is equals to a plus b y. So that is the equation like that. So now, how do you find a and b when y is dependent on x, and how do you find a and b when when x is dependent on y? So for b, if x is dependent on y, or y is dependent on x, b is equals to sxy over sxx. These are the partial deviations, then the deviations of x. Where sxy, which is the partial deviations of x and y, sxy is equal to the sum of x, y minus the sum of x times the sum of y, then just this part all over n. That is how you're going to find sxy. Then for sxx, this is equals to the summation of x squared minus summation of x, then everything squared, then divide by n. That is your sxx. So this is what you need to find your b. Then how do you find your a? To find your a, you're going to use this equation where we multiply this equation by summation of x. So it'd be summation of is equals to a summation of x plus b summation of x squared. So these are the equations that you're going to need. So this one will help you find b, and after you find b, you replace here, you have these, and you'll be able to find your a, and you come and replace in this equation, and that will be it for y on x. Now, if you are specifically told to find the regression line for x on y, You need to know how to find B, and you need to know how to find A. How you find B, B is equal to SXY divided by SYY. You see the difference? Here we had SXX, here we have SYY. So you should write this information down in your books and you should memorize it. Okay, so this is X on Y, X on Y. This is Y on X. Hope you can remember that. Then how do you find SXX? SXX is the same SXX that is here. So let me just carry it from here. So that is the same SXX that is there. So that is your SXX. Okay. Then to find, you need SXY. Let me just see that. Okay. You need your SXY. So your SYY, which is what you need at the bottom here, is equals to summation of y squared minus summation of y, then everything squared, then divide by n. So this will help you find your SXY, and that will help you find your SYY, and that will help you find your B. Now, how do you find A? How you find A is you multiply by the sum of y on this equation, so it becomes summation of xy is equals to A summation of y plus B summation of y squared. So that is the equation that will help you find your A. You just replace your B here by what you find there, and you make A subject of the formula. Okay, to put it simply, here we can say A is equals to summation of xy minus B summation of x squared divided by summation of x. So this will help you find your A. Here, A is equals to summation of xy minus B summation of y squared divided by summation of y. So that is what you need, and you just replace in there. So let me just circle our equations. For finding B, this one. For finding A, we can use this one, summation of x minus B, summation of y squared divided by summation of y. Then for this other one, we have, for B, we use this one. Then for A, we use that one. So you'll be told specifically to say, find the regression line for y on x, or maybe they might say, find the regression line for x on y. But if they have not stated whether you are finding the regression line of x on y or y on x, you go with the default. The default is the regression line for y on x. So if they didn't say anything, just know that what they are looking for is the regression line for y on x, which is the case that we have here. You're asked to estimate the linear regression line. So you've not been told if it's for x on y or y on x. But what you should know is that if they've not said, they're looking for the regression line for y on x. If you've not been told, you'll be told when you are told for x on y and y on x. I know someone out there is asking, how do you know? How do you know? Yeah. Sometimes you just see from the question how the question will be phrased, and you'll be required to determine which one is the independent variable and which one will be the dependent variable. Okay, so now on to question number one. So we're asked to find the estimated line of regression. So we said we've not been told which one, is it y on x or x on y? So we just pick the default, which is y on x. So this is the regression line. So we need to find our B using this formula. So let me just do from top here. So we need to find our B. B will be equals to Sx y all over Sx x. Okay, x on y on x. So where s. So this is equals to summation of xy minus summation of x, summation of y divided by n, everything divided by summation of x squared minus summation of x, then squared, then divide by n. Then we can just replace on top there. Summation of x times y is that number here. So let me just replace. Right. So our summation of xy is that. Summation of x is that, which we put here 760. Then summation of y is 820.8, which is here. So when we simplify, or at the bottom, we can also replace summation of x squared is this 30600 minus summation of x, which is this squared 760 squared divided by 20. So simplifying everything, we get our b to be equal to. So when we simplify the numerator, we're going to have that. And when we simplify the denominator, we're going to have that. So simply simplifying everything, we are going to have b approximately equal to that. So that is basically what b will be. Then for a, we said for y on x, a is equals to the sum of x, y minus b, sum of x squared all over sum of x, like that. So that is our b. So I mean our a, simply we can put it like that. So we can now replace to find a. So our a will be equal to summation of x, y is 3768.5 minus b. B is negative. So there is this negative and the negative that is on b, negative 0.24529 times summation of x squared, which is this, times 3600. Then everything all over summation of x. Summation of x is 760. So when we simplify that, what we are going to have is so after simplifying everything, the numerator, you have that. Then our a will finally be equal to that. So we found our b, we found our a. Now the estimated line of regression. So this is for y on x. Y, let me use a red pen. So for y on x, y is equals to a plus bx, meaning that the line of regression will be y will be equals to our a. What is our a? So we replace a. Our a is this 50.361, and our b will be negative this. So to make this to be negative 0.24529 times x. So this is our estimated line of regression for y on x. If you are told to find the estimated line of regression for x and y, you use this information that is on this column that is here. All right, so that is what you use. Then predict the average value of y given that x is equals to 12. Okay, so this is the question. So you've been given that x is equals to 12. What is the value of y? So this question is basically simple. You have this equation, so you're using this equation. So you have y is equals to this 50.361 minus 0.24529. Then if x is 12, so you put 12 there. Then you simplify this. So you simplify that, and what you're getting is the value of y when x is 12. So when x is 12, y will be 47.41752. So that is how you were supposed to answer this question. Then so that's basically it. If you have any question, please ask. Now I'm going to give you a task. Okay, now this task, you're going to find the estimated line of regression for both x on y and y on x. So it's a very, very simple task. Let me put it on the screen.